Okay, this is Orlando Wilson, and what I want to talk about in this video, I want to tell a story about a little story about a call I got last evening from some gentleman, and I'm sure once I start telling the story, people will be able to work out which area it's from. This gentleman was given my number by somebody I know, whatever, long story, short story, but long story. Anyway, this gentleman has gone and he's worried about his security, his personal security. Why? Because he's been threatened by somebody, some gangbangers, apparently. And these guys are threatening him. They got hold of his phone number, etc. And you know what? This, to me, is a typical midlife crisis story for somebody. It's a typical South Florida story, if you couldn't work out where this come from. And this guy's asking me about he needs security personnel, etc. You know what? He can't afford security personnel. He thinks he's got money, but he doesn't have that much money when I started talking prices. And to be honest with you, he doesn't need security personnel. As the story goes, this gentleman who's in his early 40s, got money, was in the VIP area of a nightclub. Some shitty South Florida nightclub, where they think's cool. And got into an argument with some guy over some chick, some woman, etc. His girlfriend, his, of course, younger girlfriend, his trophy. And there was a little bit, when they left, there was a little bit of a confrontation in the parking lot, etc. Since then, this apparently gangbanger has got hold of this guy's phone number, been phoning him up and threatening him, and because he disrespected him, and the typical complete and utter, how can we put it? How do I put it these days? Teenage bullshit. It's something that a professional in their early 40s, professional person in their early 40s should not be getting involved in, but people do. And I said to this guy, you mean I'm not going to make any money from him, big money from him. I asked him, is he going through a midlife crisis or something? Which I think he is. Early 40s, I take it he's just got divorced a few years ago. He has money. He can go to these places now and party. He couldn't do it when he was younger because he was a geek. Now he's got some freedom. He's going out and getting himself into trouble. And again, the first thing he asked me about this, what he could do to protect himself. And the typical South Florida answer, I'm sure he's spoken to other people, is buy a gun. Guns can get you out of trouble. Guns can get you into trouble. And one question I said to him, okay, if you was in this parking lot again and you had a gun on you, if the confrontation happened again and nobody was hurt, would you have pulled a firearm? And he said, yeah, you most probably would have. I said, okay, you'd just escalated a situation which really could have been completely avoided into a possible shooting. Because did the other people have guns on them? Who knows? It's South Florida. So my advice for this person and other people in the same situation, okay, do the threat assessment, work things out. Do the threat assessment, work things out, and then work out what you can do to protect yourself. And the general thing is avoidance. Everybody wants to go for the gung-ho approach, buy a firearm, do this, do that. It's a lot easier to just avoid the problem. If somebody's phoning you up, and I said to this client, where did these people get hold of your phone number? Oh, the vehicle's coming. I said to them, where did these people get hold of your phone number? And he reckons they most probably got hold of his phone number from one of the bouncers at the nightclub. And I said to the guy, why is the bouncer at the nightclub got your phone number? Oh, they're good guys. They fix things for me. They help me out. They get me they get me into the VIP area. I give them a few bucks. It's like, okay, well, these people you think you're your friends that like you when you're tipping them for getting into a VIP area because they think you're loaded with cash, and now giving out your phone numbers to anybody that's got a problem with you. As I said to him, is one thing buying a firearm. Firearms can get you into trouble. He's already got a gun, I think. All right, I fix him up the training to make sure what he's doing. I'll tell my guy that's giving him the training is the emphasis needs to be on the law, on use of force, what he can do, what he can't do. The other thing as well, the phone calls. Ignore the phone calls. Hang up. Don't get into shouting matches with some person over the phone for no reason. Ignore the phone calls. Block the phone calls. I said to him, do they know where you live? He doesn't think so. I said, okay, well, that's it. Don't worry about it. Ignore the phone calls. And again, don't go back to the nightclub. Avoid the nightclub. And this is where people's egos will kick in. I don't know this guy a little bit. I'm going to send him this video. I know him after a conversation. I said to him, don't go back to the nightclub. But again, this is where egos kick in. People think, well, why should I not go back there? It's these other people's fault. I'm not afraid of these people, etc., etc. The egos kick in, and something as stupid as people wanting to go to some shit-ass nightclub can cause problems. If that nightclub is a problem for you, avoid the problem. I don't go to bars. I don't go to clubs. I'm too old anyway, but I don't even go to bars. I know there are areas where you're going to get drunks, etc., etc., where you're going to have people it's possibly going to cause you problems. I don't want those problems. So the simple thing is to always avoid the problems. As I said to this guy, it's all avoidable, just forget it. And again, people know me, I'm a little bit sarcastic. I was giving him a little bit of grief of like, okay, you're a successful guy in your early 40s. What are you doing going to nightclubs? What are you doing associating with such people or going to places where you can bump into these people? It's if you avoid the problems in the first place, you don't have the problems. And this is something for life in general. If you don't associate with the shit is not going to stick. If you keep associating with shit, the shit will stick to you. And then you'll get the problems. If you don't deal with the riffraff, if you don't go to places where you can come into contact with the riffraff, generally you're not going to get the problem. And this is something if you're in the CP business, if you're in the serious security or investigations business, you cannot afford to be associated with the riffraff or have shit sticking to you. You know what? I got enough problems going on for other people and enough things to deal with rather than dealing with some personal BS to do with some crap nightclub and some, how can I put it politely? I can't really put it politely. Some chick that's just looking for some quick money and, how can I put it? Difficult to put it politely to keep the videos up on social media. Some young lady that just wants some quick money from you and taking quick money from other people and just wants to be taken out, shown around, spent money on, and then she'll bounce onto the next guy, right? Everybody knows how it works. But people want that lifestyle. People are going through if people are going through a midlife crisis, they've never done that type of thing when they're younger. They end up getting themselves into trouble. And this is a case of somebody potentially getting themselves into a lot of trouble. Hopefully now they've been a little bit educated and will start living a little bit of a different lifestyle. So in the meantime, follow us along on social media. I've got a lot more of these videos up. We've got more going up. So follow us along. And as always, be good, stay safe, and stay out of trouble.